Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, all the product I use and all the dimensions will be listed below. There is a link to my online store. If you wish to purchase any of these products, there is a link to my Facebook group if you'd like to join us. We'd love to have you. There's my email address if you have any questions. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and help me grow in YouTube world. So you're looking at this picture. What is a bad quality picture? First off, I will tell you that. That is white. The picture is really bad. This is a picture of a card I made in 2015. I used Lovely as a Tree. I don't remember what verse it came out of. And I decided I liked this card so much I was going to case myself. Now I didn't have the dimensions for this, and it's off kilter and everything else. So I came up with different dimensions, plus I'm using a different stamp set. I do have Lovely as a Tree still. I probably will never get rid of it. But we're going to make a different version of this. And it looks like this. Very similar, but a little bit different. When you case, it always turns out a little different, and that's the inside of the card. And on the outside, it says Joy. So this is what we're going to make. And I'll let you look at that picture for a second because I realized I did not grab the Joy stamp out. I have to forget something. Let's grab a block for Joy. A little big, but it will work. So let me go through all the pieces of the project for you, and then we will start our stamping. We're using Real Red. Shaded Spruce, and Crumb Cake on this card. This is a piece of 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it does need to be burnished. Then we have two pieces of very vanilla. No, it's not very. It's white, basic white. They are both 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. One of these, you can see, I have already embossed with the Snowflake Sky before we got started, okay? And this is going to be for the inside of our card. We'll stamp that in a few minutes. We have an envelope for I'm studying all my stamping into a pile. And then we have another layer here, Real Red, 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. And a piece of basic white that's 3 by 4 1/4. That's gonna go here, and we do need to stamp that piece. And then we have one that is 1 7/8 by 3 1/8 of Real Red, and 1 3/4 by 3, which we need to stamp. So we are going to do our stamping first. I think we'll get the Joy out of here first, and that's going to be done in Real Red. Yeah, I looked at that. I seen that picture. I was looking through my phone, and you know how some guys get memory things come up on your phone? That came up on my phone. I'm like, I should case myself. So we use Joy. Oh, I should tell you what stamp sets we're using. We use Brightest Glow for the verses, and we're using Forever Forest. Didn't tell you what we were using. I'm gonna leave that open for a minute. This is the inside of our card. And I am going to, and this is not a horizontal card, Lori. This is a vertical card. Turn it around. So we're going to stamp our verse here at the top. It says, hoping your Christmas shines bright with love of family and friends. And I'm going to try to get this as centered in the top as possible. Okay, I'm going to leave the red open here. Am I done with it? No, I'm not done with the red yet. This is Shaded Spruce, and we're going to do with a small tree here. Make sure I got him good and covered. That looks good. I'm going to put it up just a little bit here. Leave him right there. And then I'm going to get Crumb Cake. And there's like a little snow bank or dirt bank. I'm going to do that in Crumb Cake, and I'm going to try to line this up. right about like that. Okay. For the outside, for these other pieces here, this is first the main front piece. We're going to use this small tree again, not crumb cake. Make sure I got him good and covered. And I'm going to go up, not quite to the top, but leave a little bit of room so I can put his little base underneath of him. The reason I wanted the little base underneath, if you looked at my original one, these trees all had a base. And I didn't want my tree floating in the middle of the air. Things have to be grounded. You can't have them floating. Unless you're a spaceship or something. And I'm going to put that right about there. Ooh, I did bad. Good thing there's two sides to a piece of paper, isn't there? I'm going to stamp this one first this time. I rocked bad. Yeah, we'll make sure it's well covered, and I'm going to get him down in there this time. Also didn't have him lined up very well. That's much better. It's a little high though still. You know what we're going to do? We're going to stamp this off, and I'm going to make a little, move it over just slightly. Actually, that looks pretty good. I'm going to try to go to this side a little bit. I should have a piece of paper under here. Just moved it around and made a little bank there. Okay, we are done with him. Now this is the 3 by 4 1/4. First, we're going to get this very large stamp here. Oh, actually, we're going to do the road first. Sorry. Happy Holidays. Stamp your verse first at the bottom, because that tells you where your placement of your trees is going to be. Just like that. No. We're using the back sides of paper really well today, aren't we? That's much better. Now we're done with the red. And I do need a piece of scratch paper here. You don't mind my sketching, do you? This is when I was figuring out the size. Because this is going to go off the page at the top. And this is this is the 3 largest trees. There's a one with 5 trees. Make sure I've got this well covered. This doesn't say it's a distinctive stamp, but it does have a lot of distinction in all these branches. So, what I want to do is leave just a little bit enough room for the ground. So the top one's going to go off and up here, which is fine. I'll let that sit for just a second. I'm adding pressure because it is a very large stamp. There we go. Okay, next we need me to wipe off some ink off my fingers. I'm going to grab that crumb cake. I'm going to start with the middle one and just come across here. Make a little more there. Make one. So we have a nice little place for our trees to sit. So now we are ready to assemble this card. So we'll start with the inside. This is an easy card. It really is. Do your stamping and then just cut all your pieces and sit and... You know what? I think we may have almost hit the bottom of this too. This is the same one I've been using for 2 weeks. I keep on thinking it's going to run out. These have small borders on the inside. Okay, next is going to be the snow. Now you make the decision. Is it heavier at the top or lighter at the bottom? I like the heavy at the top. You decide for yourself. You know what? I think this is really at the end of it. So, I've had a spare sitting off to the side waiting. That. This one is going to get mounted on this red piece. So very small borders, about 1/8, 16th of an inch. I think it's 16th of an inch. And that is going to get mounted in the center, but while we're gluing here, let's glue this one. This is the one where I rocked. See what happened? I rocked it there. I didn't like that. This one goes on the small piece. Like that. Now, before we mount this on here, we need to add some ribbon. And this is the Real Red Garden Green Combo Ribbon. It's in the annual catalog. You don't need much of a piece here. I'm just going to use some Scotch tape on this. You have to decide where you want it to go. Now, I wanted mine to go here, but they also look at this, where this is going to go. This is going to go in the center here, and I wanted to make sure that the ribbon was behind this. So right across the stalks, just above the grass or ground line is perfect. Do that. I'm probably going to drop it off. You could use seal if you wanted. Sometimes I just like to use plain old Scotch tape. Now before I hook this side down, I'm going to make sure I'm pretty straight, which I am. And now I'm going to add glue. Right over the ribbon, right over the tape. Want enough glue because we're putting this on an embossed piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to line this up in my, so you see where center is. That looks pretty good. That down for just a second. Now this is going to go up on Dimensionals. I had fun recreating this card. I even actually forgot about it until it popped up in my memory thing, and I was like, huh. It's like, why not? I have a beautiful tree set. I might as well try it. Yeah, I was not sure. I know the first card I made, I think it was Real Red, but I'm really not sure what green it was. I think it might have been Shaded Spruce. I'm not positive. Okay, once again, I'm going to line this up in my grid here. Get it nice and straight for me. I want to try to get this as centered. I'm not pushing down yet. Over right there. Get it in place before I commit. Okay, now we're not done with this tree. I mean, it's pretty, but it's not finished. I grabbed basic rhinestones. I wanted to use rhinestones because I think rhinestones really represent, baubles on a tree really nicely, or lights. So I took my dark Real Red blender, and I needed 9. I've done 8. I'm going to do one more right here. Use the side. Do not press hard. You don't want to ruin your nib. And I did this with Real Red. Now, We had a set, it retired last year, of Christmas ones. There were rhinestones. There was blue and green and red and stuff. If you still have those, use them. I unfortunately finished mine on another card the other day. For one of my classes, I used those. So, now I need something I can use. There we go. And I took my glasses off, so I'd put it back on. So I did 2 large ones, which I'm going to put towards the bottom here. When you do this, make sure you let them sit for just a few minutes. That's why I'm doing the one last. Or you'll get, it takes a minute for it to dry. I'm just sort of zigzagging them up the tree. You can put them anywhere you want. I think I'm going to take one in there a little bit. They don't have to be exactly in the same spot every time. But I put 9 on here. I thought that was enough. There. It's a little different layout than my first one. That's okay. So that is the card. And this is what my original looked like. Different trees, but still, I think, quite beautiful. So, yeah, sometimes you think about doing something you've done before and it's like, oh, why not? So, that is our card for today. I hope you enjoy it. Now you guys can go and case me that I case myself. We can have a lot of casing fun. It's Friday. We should be having fun. So everyone have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Goodbye.